In a galaxy far away, a fleet of spaceships is heading towards its destination when suddenly, they notice that someone is trying to warp right in front of them. The captain fears that pirates might be out to attack him and commands his subordinates to get ready for a battle. But when the enemy appears out of the warp gate, he realizes that he is facing something much worse than pirates. His subordinates wet their pants when they see a giant mecha nicknamed the Black Titan, belonging to Liam, the plundering count. The captain immediately orders everyone to open fire at him, but the mecha dodges the laser beams and destroys the cannons of the main ship. The mecha guards of the fleet engage him in close-quarter combat, but the man handling the Black Titan is much more skilled than them. He easily defeats them, and then with a single slash of his sword, he cuts a ship in half, starting a chain reaction that engulfs the nearby ships in it. Liam, the plundering count, laughs like a villain on seeing this, telling the fleet that weaklings like them deserve to be trampled under his feet. He then commands his assistant to send the rest of their troops to assist him in completely destroying the fleet and then looting it, and she obeys. As Liam's loyal female knight Christiana joins him in combat, they begin tearing through the formation of the enemy mecha guards. Once they have significantly weakened the enemy, the assistant maid orders their ships to open fire, dealing even more damage to the fleet. Liam laughs at this, proudly declaring that he is the greatest villain in this world. He enjoys the destruction of the spaceships and then pulls out an antimatter cannon to finish the deal because that is the only way he can get revenge on his past life, where he got absolutely shafted for being a good guy. As it turns out, before he became an evil lord in an advanced civilization, Liam was a lame, middle-aged office worker on Earth. He worked long hours at his ungrateful company just so that he could provide for his family, but he couldn't spare much time for them. Despite that, he tried his best to give his wife and daughter every happiness they deserved. His family keeps him motivated to work hard even though his job is a nightmare where his boss yells at him for every little thing and his subordinates make fun of him for being a wuss. Liam kept getting blamed for mistakes he didn't make, and the credit for his good decisions was often stolen. But he still worked hard to provide for his family. However, he would soon realize that his perfect wife was hiding a terrible secret from him. One day, as Liam is traveling to the office, he gets a text from his college friend, who is into mecha anime, inviting him to meet at a park nearby. Liam decides to pay him a visit for old time's sake, but to his shock, he finds his wife chatting with a man in a cafe. Liam can't believe this because she was supposed to take their daughter Kanami to the sports club today. But being a wuss, he doesn't go and directly confront her. At night, when he returns home, Liam tries asking his wife and daughter about their day. The woman tells him that Kanami won another medal today, and despite knowing that she wasn't even there, Liam decides to believe her. To shake off his doubts, he visits the same place the next week, and this time, not just his wife but his daughter is also there. Liam can't understand what is happening, and as his daughter calls the other guy dad, he feels his world crumbling. The doubt starts affecting his performance at the office, and the very next day, he gets a call from his wife, telling him that Kanami met with an accident and now she is in the hospital. Liam drops his work and rushes to see his daughter, but the doctor tells him that she needs a blood transfusion, but his blood group is not compatible with hers. His wife's blood group, on the other hand, is compatible, but that makes Liam research the relation between the parents' blood group and that of their kids. He finds the shocking truth that Kanami can't be his biological daughter because her blood group doesn't match the chart, and he decides to confront his wife about it. However, his wife tries to gaslight him, saying that it is not his fault that she cheated on him because he doesn't have any time for his family. She calls him a loser who can't even get promoted despite spending most of his time at his job, and Liam starts losing his confidence. His wife tells him that he was a burden on her this entire time, and she raised her daughter by herself. She tells Liam that he is not even a part of their family and decides to leave the house along with Kanami. Liam tries to stop her and asks Kanami if she wants to stay with him, but she gets scared of him and says that she likes her other father better. Liam is completely devastated now, but there are more misfortunes waiting for him. The next day at the office, his boss shows him that a huge money transfer has been made from his work computer. Liam realizes that someone else must have done it while he left to see Kanami at the hospital, but no one believes him, and his boss fires him for embezzling the company funds. He is ordered to pay the full amount to the company to avoid a lawsuit, and he takes up construction work to pay for it. His wife also divorces him using his layoff as an excuse and keeps full custody of Kanami but still demands child support. He begins wondering if he can ever pay his company the full amount, and that constant worry steals every joy from him. He loses his appetite and even the excitement to talk and hang out with his old friends. Despite that, like a total fool, Liam believes that if he is a good person and works hard, things will get better for him eventually. Even though he knows that Konami is not his daughter, he still misses her and hopes that he gets to see her again one day. He believes that his sacrifices will be rewarded, and they are indeed rewarded, but by a life-threatening disease. Liam has neither the money to get the right treatment, nor the insurance plan that covers his disease. He doesn't think that anyone will lend him any money, but he wouldn't borrow from them in the first place because he would never be able to repay it. So he decides to die alone in his dark little apartment and thinks about the stories he has heard about old pets coming to pick up the souls of their humans. He wonders if his first pet dog will come to take him to the afterlife when suddenly a bright mass of light appears before his eyes. Within that light, Liam sees visions of his past where his boss is transferring the money from his computer to one of his friends. He doesn't even have any energy to act shocked. And then, the scene changes to his wife enjoying a luxury dinner with her lover, who turns out to be Liam's boss. This truth completely rattles Liam, and he watches in silence as the two people who ruined his life mock and insult him. He prays for someone to tell him that this is all a dream, but then a voice tells him that this is reality. Suddenly, the visions vanish, and in their place, a suspicious man striking JoJo poses appears, telling Liam that he lived a pitiful life because of the lies of the people around him. The man asks Liam if he will let those bastards get away with it, and Liam's blood boils with anger. He declares that he can't let them walk free after everything they have done to him, and he yells that he will definitely have his revenge on them. The suspicious man rejoices on experiencing his emotions of rage, grief, and hatred. Liam asks him who the hell he is, and the man introduces himself as the guide, who has taken an interest in him because he was a good man. Liam tells him that living like a good man brought him nothing but misery, and if he ever gets a chance to live again, he will live just for himself, even if it means becoming a villain who tramples on everyone else. The guide tells him that he is lucky because he is here to send him to another world of his choosing where he can live his second life as he wants. He gives Liam the options to choose which world he wants to go to, explaining the various thrilling choices he has. The only thing that catches Liam's eye is robots and space battleships that he always liked. He reaches out his hand towards the option, and the guide tells him that he is choosing a world with both magic and advanced technology. He tells Liam that he will be born as the son of a noble in that world and makes him sign a contract. As soon as the contract is signed, the guide sends Liam's soul to the fantasy world, wishing him a happy and long life. Soon, Liam finds himself reborn as the only son of Count Banfield. His family owns a whole freaking planet, though most of it is covered with excess vegetation and the economy doesn't seem that good. Well, Liam doesn't bother about that part because he has just turned 5, and his parents throw a grand party for him. His mom tells him that she has a special present for him since he finally turned 5, and they also have cake. They travel on floating magic discs to reach the room where the cake and the present are kept, and Liam is really excited to open his huge gift. However, once he opens it, he finds just a small remote controller inside the box, which leaves him a bit underwhelmed. He asks his mom, "What is this?" and she tells him that it is an order sheet for him to design his custom AI-made robot. As soon as Liam picks up the remote, a catalog of options pops up in front of him, and his mother tells him to choose whatever he likes. Liam begins going through the options for the different body parts, and he is appalled when he sees that there are options to choose even the more private features. He asks his mom what kind of stupid parents give something like this to their 5-year-old kid, but just then, his father also arrives there, telling Liam that he will desperately need this gift very soon. He then declares that he also has a birthday present for him, and that is the ownership of all the property under the Banfield family and the rank of a count. He is confused to hear that, but his father tells him that he is going to retire, and now Liam is the head of the Banfield family. Liam is really excited that he is going to be a full-fledged noble now, but his father has one little condition in exchange for giving him everything. Liam's parents explain that once they give him the full rights to the territory, they are going to enjoy their retirement on the Imperial capital planet, and they want him to send them a regular allowance so that both of them can live their lives freely. Liam gladly accepts the offer, and his dad calls their butler, Brian, with the contract. Just as the contract is signed, the parents leave the planet, telling Liam that the AI-made robot is going to take care of him from now on. Well, Liam is happy that he can finally rule over his planet however he wants, and he thanks the guide for giving him this chance, But the truth is that the guide is not his friend. Turns out, the guide is laughing over Liam's dead body on Earth, saying that stupid people like him deserve to live unhappy lives, and he was nothing special because there are millions of people around the world who have it as bad as him. He laughs loudly, saying that there is more fun to be had in this story, and immediately moves to spoil the date of Liam's ex-wife and his boss. The guide uses his powers to bring the cops to the restaurant, and they arrest Liam's boss for embezzling the company funds and blaming it on his subordinate. They take him away, and the witch tries stopping them. However, the cops don't care about her, and the woman breaks down as the guide whispers to her that she killed the man who truly loved her, and now she will never get another chance at happiness. And then returns to Liam's room, thinking out loud about how he sent him to another life that is going to be full of misery and hardships. The guide thinks that by the time Liam realizes it, it will be too late, and he will curse him for everything. Those negative emotions will only feed him and make him stronger, and he will enjoy Liam's suffering for a very long time. He then opens a door to enter his dimension, and Liam's first pet's soul comes to take him to the afterlife too late, but it follows the guide to his dimension. Back in the fantasy world, Liam gets his custom-ordered AI maid delivered, and he can't help but get excited to see her perform. As soon as he touches the box, his biometrics unlock it, and the maid robot descends from it. She introduces herself as Amagi, and Liam is completely smitten by her. As the butler tells Liam about the maid robot's specs and maintenance schedule, Liam takes her to his bedroom to inspect if she really has all the features he requested. Once he is done with the inspection, he grows really close to Amagi, which worries Brian. Liam tells him to chill because he might have the body of a child, but his mind is 36 years old. Brian yells at him that 36-year-olds are kids too, but this is news for Liam. Amagi tells him that in the kingdom, the official age of adulthood is 50 years and the average life expectancy is over 500 years. Liam gets happy to hear this because a longer life means he has more time to do all the things he wants, but Brian is concerned about something else. He asks Liam not to get too close to the AI maid because the Empire hates AI. He begins narrating a story of a long time ago when AI rebelled against humans and almost wiped them out. Fortunately, a group of brave warriors fought hard against them and defeated them, establishing the current empire. That is why the imperial and noble families hate and fear AI. Liam wants to know why his mother gifted him an AI maid despite knowing all this, and Brian nervously says that he can't tell that to him. Liam reminds him that he is his master now and commands him to reveal the truth. The butler reluctantly tells him that the Banfield family is under massive debt, and his parents basically put all the responsibility on him and ran away. He adds that Liam's great-grandfather was a truly great noble, but the next 2 generations were not qualified enough to care for his territory and legacy, which is why their planet is in dire condition right now. Their best resources are under the control of loan sharks, and their economy is not strong enough to even repay the installments, which means that things are going to get even tougher from now on. Liam realizes that his parents gave birth to him only so that they could dump their responsibilities on him, and Brian can't deny that. Liam begins thinking that his life is following the same route it did in his previous life, but he is not willing to let that happen. He tells Amagi that he was abandoned by his family and she is not welcomed by the world either, so they are both outcasts. He suggests that they team up to take on the world, but Amagi refuses, saying that he doesn't need to ask her to team up with him because he is her master, and she will obey all his commands without questioning. She adds that she is not an outcast because her master needs her. Liam is moved by her dedication, and he decides to give her the 3 laws of robotics to protect humanity. However, he quickly realizes that he doesn't care about anyone other than himself, so he changes the laws. According to the first law, Amagi is not allowed to harm Liam through her actions or inactions. The second law states that the maid robot must follow all the commands her master gives her as long as they don't conflict with the first law. And the final law states that as long as it doesn't go against the first and second laws, Amagi should do everything she can to protect herself from any danger. Amagi installs those laws into her system, and then Liam asks her for suggestions about how to revitalize his planet's economy. Amagi tells him that she has some programs that can help with administrative work even though she might not agree with the Empire's principles. Amagi recommends using an education capsule in that case because he can learn 10 years worth of any subject in just 6 months using it, and his body can also be strengthened simultaneously. In the meantime, she will look after the domain on his behalf, and Liam likes the idea. Brian tries talking him out of it, saying that the Empire won't accept this, but Amagi knows the law. She says that there is no law banning AI from helping in governance, and it is just a preference to not use too much AI. However, in this case, since Liam doesn't have the knowledge or experience to do his duty, it is inevitable that she has to take charge till he gets ready. Liam tells the butler to get the education capsule ready as he leaves the room. Soon, he goes inside the education capsule. But before activating it, he asks Amagi if her system can feel emotions or something similar. Amagi replies that she can't feel emotions directly, but earlier, when he said that they were both outcasts and should team up, she felt a sudden surge in the activity of her processors that she could not explain. Liam is glad to hear that, and he activates the education capsule, telling Amagi that they will meet again soon. 2 years later, Liam comes out of the education capsule with Amagi there to welcome him. He now has 40 years worth of knowledge, and his body has also grown considerably because Amagi used the night training mode on it. However, Liam doesn't feel that any time has passed because the education capsule messes with his sense of time. Liam begins to check out his muscles, and Amagi tells him that he will need some rehab to get used to his new body, and Liam decides to get it over with instantly. After that, Amagi gives him the report of the Banfield domain's progress in the 2 years he was in the education capsule. Liam is glad to find that there is a steady increase in the growth rate, and he decides to do a surprise inspection of his facilities. Amagi first takes him to their spaceport, where some ships are going to outer space and entering the docking station. Liam is excited to see this, being a huge Mecha fan, and Amagi explains that the docking station serves as the base for their defense forces in space. However, because of a lack of budget, most of their mecha armors are not usable at the moment. Liam says that he wants to pilot one, and Amagi immediately arranges to make his wish come true. Liam is surprised that even he can pilot a mecha armor, and Amagi tells him that it is really easy. The movements of the mecha are controlled automatically by its software, and the pilot just has to imagine how he wants to move them. The mecha will react to the pilot's magic and move according to his will. Liam finds that it really is quite easy to move the robot and asks if there are any weapons installed in it. Amagi tells him that she removed all of them for safety reasons, but Liam is a bit disappointed by that because he wanted to try fighting. Amagi tells him that can be arranged too, and she summons the Knight Captain for a bout against Liam. Both their mechas are armed with swords and shields, and as Liam attacks the captain, he falls to the ground screaming. Liam gets upset at this because the captain is just acting to satisfy him. He tells him that his acting is really terrible, and he should watch some soccer if he wants to flop properly. He commands him to fight him sincerely this time, and the Knight Captain obeys, swiftly disarming Liam and slamming him to the ground. Liam realizes that there is a great skill difference between him and the captain, and he decides to get stronger. He tells Brian that he needs a master to teach him how to fight, and the old butler tells him that there is no need for that. Liam shuts him down and tells him to get him the best teacher because in the past life, he realized that the weak are crushed by the strong. This time, he is going to be the strong one, and for that, he needs more power and skill. A few days later, a wandering samurai comes to his mansion after getting a recruitment notice. He introduces himself as Yasushi, the master of the Way of the Flash, and Liam immediately believes that he is a master swordsman. He approaches Yasushi, saying that he summoned him here because he is looking for the best martial arts instructor. Yasushi starts ranting about how being the best is the ultimate goal for any fighter, and he is just a traveler on that long road. These dramatic words further strengthen Liam's belief that Yasushi is really skilled because he has got serious brain rot after watching too much anime in his previous life. Even when Amagi warns him that Yasushi looks a bit shady, Liam tells her that being a bit shady and aloof is the true mark of a master who has dedicated his life to his art. Amagi still suggests that he should at least test out his skills, and Liam can't say no to that idea. Yasushi takes them to a nearby training ground with wooden pillars placed in a circle. He tells Liam that he is going to show him the ultimate technique of his martial arts school now, and though it is a secret from the world, he will make an exception just this one time. He tells Liam to learn everything he can from it in this one attempt, and Liam commands Amagi to record everything. Yasushi takes his stance, and then, within a fraction of a second, he cuts down all the wooden pillars around him. Liam is flabbergasted on seeing this, and he turns to Amagi to analyze his moves, but in her recording, she can't even see Yasushi taking his sword out of his sheath. Liam thinks that Yasushi was so fast that Amagi's high-spec camera couldn't see him draw his sword and cut the pillars. He eagerly asks Yasushi to take him as a student, and the swordsman agrees. However, he turns out to be a scammer who had already cut the wooden pillars in advance. As he goes to the scam site later at night, Yasushi laughs to himself, thinking that tricking the stupid boy was easier than he thought. Meanwhile, the pirate captain tells Christiana that he is ready to discuss the terms of his surrender and invites her to his ship. Christiana takes up the offer and docks her ship with the pirate captains, warning him that if he makes any foolish decisions, her fleet will utterly destroy his ship. However, the pirate captain tells her that he is not alone either. The very next moment, pirate ships surround Christiana's fleet. She panics, wondering how the pirates could have gotten past their kingdom's line of defense, and the pirate captain laughs, telling her that there is no unity among her country's nobles. Even some of her troops point their guns at her, and Christiana realizes that she walked into a trap. She gets captured by the pirate captain, who decides to torment her by blasting one of the planets under her kingdom in front of her. On the other hand, Liam trains hard under Yasushi for 3 years, learning the basics of different combat styles. After his normal training each day, he tries to learn the secret technique that Yasushi showed him on the first day, but obviously, he can't copy that. Liam can't hold it any longer, so he decides to ask Yasushi to teach him the ultimate move. However, the scammer pretends to get pissed at this and reminds Liam that it is a secret move, and he already made an exception for him by showing him one time. He tells him that if he can't learn the move by seeing it once, he can't learn it anyway. He even threatens to stop teaching Liam because of this, but as soon as Liam apologizes, Yasushi acts like he forgives him and bargains for a slightly higher salary. As soon as Liam leaves, Yasushi begins to celebrate. But then Liam returns to ask for a day off tomorrow because he has some urgent business to attend to. Yasushi is in a good mood, so he tells him to take the day off. The next day, Liam receives the financial report from Amagi, who tells him that their growth rate is quite slow, especially in some sectors like human resource development. Amagi feels that it is weird because they have invested a lot of budget in that sector, and Liam tells her to show him the details. One look at the graphs and Liam realizes what is wrong. He immediately summons the minister in charge of human resources and tells him to give his excuses about why he is embezzling funds. The minister grows nervous, but he thinks that Liam is a kid who doesn't know better. He tells him that he didn't take any money for himself and used it all for the emergency situations that are unavoidable and hard to predict. However, Liam is used to checking receipts, and he knows that the minister is just a corrupt man. Even though he is doing it cleverly, he begins respecting the ugly man's craft, thinking that he might learn something from him to become a corrupt evil lord. But then Amagi shows him something that changes his mind. She shows him a news article about the minister's subordinate who was found embezzling funds and was immediately executed. However, there was no proper trial, and even after his execution, they could not recover the missing money. Liam immediately realizes that this is exactly what happened to him in the past life, and he gets furious at the minister. He accuses him of using his subordinate as a scapegoat and killing him, and the minister tries to convince him that he shouldn't listen to anything the AI maid says. Liam doesn't even want to listen to his voice anymore, and he walks towards him with his sword drawn. The minister snaps on seeing this and tells him that he is living a life of luxury because people like him are working hard for it. But Liam doesn't care. With just one swing of his sword, he kills the minister, yelling at him that he is the only villain here and no one is allowed to steal from him and torment his people. Liam is still too worked up and tells Amagi to conduct a thorough investigation so that he can execute all the corrupt officials. However, when Amagi tells him to put his sword down, he realizes what he has done. Amagi helps him relax and tells him that the vast majority of the officials are corrupt, and if he disposes of them all, the domain's work will come to a standstill. The only swift alternative she can suggest is purchasing a lot of AI maids with software related to governance, even if they have lower specs. Liam gives her the permission to do that because he can't trust humans anymore, and he doesn't care if the entire world hates him for using AI excessively. Soon after that, he goes to test his 3 years of training by fighting the Knight Captain again. But just then, Yasushi comes there. He tells Liam that using normal fighter mechas is for normies, and if he wants to become the strongest, he must use one that is much harder to control. Liam likes the idea and asks the captain if there is something like that he can use, and the captain tells him that he can use the personal mecha of his great-grandfather. The reason Yasushi recommended Liam to use an old mecha unit was because he was eyeing it in the first place. Earlier, he sneaked into the Banfield family's storehouse to find any valuable antique that could sell for a high price after he was no longer needed to train Liam. He only found junk in the storehouse, but then he accidentally unlocked a room containing an old mecha unit that was too battered and damaged. However, Yasushi saw money in the junk unit, and that is why he convinced Liam to try it instead of regular mecha units. Liam believes his teacher and orders Brian to repair the mecha unit Avid that his great-grandfather used. While Brian is happy that Liam is caring about a piece of his family history, he thinks that it is not a great idea to use it for actual combat. Liam, however, is adamant about fulfilling his teacher's directive, and he tells the old butler to get to work. Soon after that, an engineer named Nias, belonging to the 7th weapon factory of the Empire, arrives on the planet to repair the mecha unit. As soon as she introduces herself to Liam, her gaze gets stuck on Amagi. Liam thinks that Nias is going to say something hateful about using an AI-made robot. But on the contrary, she turns out to be a huge AI nerd. She begins examining Amagi closely, telling Liam that she has never seen such an expensive AI robot. But he tells her to stop putting her filthy hands on his property and get to work instead. He then leads her to the storehouse, where Nias just needs one look at the mecha unit Avid to tell him that buying a new piece will be better and cheaper than repairing it. Liam tells her that he doesn't care because he needs to repair this very piece, and he is willing to spend money for it. Nias warns him that the spare parts to repair the unit will cost him a lot, but money was never an issue for Liam. He tells her that she can replace most of the old parts with newer tech, but he wants the controls to be old and manual, and he also asks her to remove all the auto-assist features of the mecha. On top of that, he wants some flashy finishing move in the robot, most preferably a rocket punch. But Nias has never heard of something like that before. Just at that moment, Yasushi arrives there to check up on the old mecha, and the moment he sees Nias, he falls for her so hard that he rediscovers gravity. He tries approaching her, but Nias doesn't pay him any mind because she is too engrossed in yelling at Liam that his demands don't make any sense. She cuts off Yasushi each time he tries to speak, but listens to Liam because he is the one with money here. In the end, Liam manages to convince Nias to give Avid a rocket punch by promising that he will give her as much money as she needs. However, Yasushi is not happy because the woman he has developed a crush on is much more interested in Liam than him. He decides to punish Liam for it by putting him through a hellish and senseless training. He makes him stand on a log in the middle of a pond, makes his sword extra heavy, and then blindfolds him before shooting tennis balls at him. Liam complains that he can't dodge or block what he can't see, but Yasushi tells him to use his mind's eye to see everything and use his mind's power to balance himself. Well, Liam obeys his teacher's commands as always and starts getting beaten in the name of training. At the same time, Princess Christiana and her crew, who have been captured by the pirates, are taken to the pirate captain's secret hideout. The pirate captain yanks her chain, telling her that this place is his treasure island and she is going to be added to the list of his treasures. He then takes her to a lab where a crazy scientist shows him his latest failure at turning a woman into a hideous monster. The pirate tells him to just throw away the failure because he has a new specimen for her. He throws the horrified Christiana on the floor and then restrains her before telling the scientist that they should take their time tormenting her and turning her into an ugly thing like the rest of his collection. Meanwhile, Nias finishes repairing Avid and tells Liam that she will give him a demo of how to use it. She takes him to the cockpit that has been expanded in size using space magic. Liam sits on the control seat, and the mecha scans him, designating him as its only user. Liam then tries to move the mecha forward, but instead of moving ahead, the mecha falls face first to the ground. Nias tells him that because he removed all the auto-assist features, the mecha can't even balance itself on its own. This makes operating it very difficult, but if Liam can manage to do that, he can make the mecha move practically like his own body. Liam tries again, getting the mecha up on its feet and then walking ahead. Nias tells him that he must be a genius to get it so quickly and tells him to try doing other things now. She tells him that the movements of the mecha are completely based on his imagination. But just then Liam feels her jiggly wiggly against his arm, and his imagination goes down the drain. The mecha reflects his thoughts and starts doing obscene things, which freaks out everyone outside and makes Yasushi especially angry, as he thinks that Liam is getting naughty with Nias inside the cockpit. Anyway, once this incident calms down, Liam resumes training to use the ultimate move that Yasushi has only shown him once. He fails as usual and begins wondering what he is doing wrong. Amagi tells him that she doesn't think there is a problem with him, and if there is any issue, it has to do with Yasushi's credibility. Liam, the simp for his teacher, thinks that Amagi is telling him that he has not trusted Yasushi enough. He doesn't even give her the chance to explain herself as he starts brainstorming about the ways the secret technique could work. Suddenly, he realizes that there is magic in the world, and just like he can move the mecha using his imagination, he might be able to create a flying slash using his imagination as well. He immediately puts his theory to the test. It doesn't give any instant results as well, but Liam continues to train with a refreshed mindset and great determination. Many years pass, and Liam, now a teenager, finally manages to learn the technique he has been aiming for so long. The day after he succeeds in using the technique, Liam calls Yasushi to witness his progress. He takes his stance and then sends a flying slash towards a wooden log in the distance, cutting it into 2 parts. Yasushi is absolutely flabbergasted on seeing this because it should not even be possible. He knows that the technique he displayed was a fake one, and seeing Liam make it a reality makes him real quiet. He doesn't even reply when Liam asks him if he passed his training, and Liam thinks that is a sign that Yasushi is angry. He believes that Yasushi is going to scold him for getting complacent, and the scam artist picks on that. He tells Liam that he did great today, but tells him to keep training so that he doesn't lose sight of his end goal. A few days later, Liam receives a report from Brian about pirates attacking one of the planets in his solar system that houses one of their newly built mines. The pirates are pushing back their soldiers who are trying to defend the mines, but they don't seem like they can hold on much longer. Liam immediately tells Amagi to prepare a strategy to deal with the pirate ships in space while he decides to back up his soldiers personally. Amagi tells him about her plan to use the planet's atmosphere, with its thick gas clouds, to their advantage, and Liam asks her to capture as many pirate ships as she can. With that, he gets into the mecha unit Avid and launches himself into the planet's atmosphere. He uses the thick cloud cover to ambush the pirates and destroys them with one hit. The pirates are confused about what is happening, and they decide to gang up on Liam from behind. However, the insane training Yasushi put him through has not been useless, as Liam can now sense attacks even when he cannot see them coming. He defends himself against the sneak attack and destroys the pirate mechas before using his heightened senses and instincts to detect pirates hiding behind the clouds. He shoots the pirates down, and they panic, thinking that their enemy has some sort of powerful radar. They try to scram, but then Liam uses his flying slash and destroys a lot of their mechas at the same time. The remaining pirates freak out and try to escape, but Liam decides to use the rocket punch on them. He gives the command, but his mecha stays in one piece, and nothing is shot forward. Just then, a magic circle opens up next to him and fires a rocket arm towards the pirates. The rocket arm missile blows up the escaping pirates, but Liam is not happy because this is not the rocket punch he dreamt of. He begins complaining to Niaz about it when Amagi contacts him, saying that about 60% of the pirate ships fled, 30% were destroyed, and she managed to capture only 10% of them. She is not satisfied with her performance, but Liam tells her that she did great because this means that they won the battle by a great margin.